The subtle behaviors that reveal a woman's relationship patterns include how she handles small disappointments, whether she can laugh at herself, and if she expresses gratitude or always focuses on what's lacking. These daily interactions show her emotional patterns more accurately than what she tells you directly. The way she talks about exes today is exactly how she'll talk about you tomorrow. If all her exes are crazy, toxic, or abusive, you're getting a preview of your future role in her narrative. This isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone who demonstrates accountability, self-awareness, and the ability to grow. A healthy partner can acknowledge both their ex's shortcomings and their own contributions to relationship problems. We all have blind spots. The difference is whether someone shows capacity for self-reflection. Can they admit when they've made mistakes? This emotional maturity forms the foundation of a healthy relationship. Before you invest more time and emotion, listen carefully to how she talks about past relationships. This pattern predicts your future together more accurately than any promise or momentary connection. But sometimes, the red flags aren't in what she says about others, but in how she handles everyday conflicts with you. A woman might present a balanced view of her exes, yet still show troubling patterns in real-time interactions. This brings us to our next critical warning sign: resistance to taking responsibility when things go wrong between you. Responsibility. Resistance. Inability to own her role in conflicts. Ever notice how some people can turn even the smallest disagreement into proof that you're the problem? I once dated a woman who ordered a meal at a restaurant, then complained it wasn't what she expected. When I gently mentioned she might have misread the menu description, she spent the next 20 minutes explaining why the restaurant, the waiter, and finally I were all conspiring to ruin her evening. That minor interaction revealed more about our compatibility than our previous 3 dates combined. Early dating provides a perfect window into how someone handles conflicts. Think about those first few disagreements you have with someone new. Maybe you're deciding which movie to watch, or you're running late to meet her friends. These seemingly small moments actually reveal crucial information about how she approaches problems. In healthy conflict resolution, both people acknowledge their contributions to the issue. She might say, "I was frustrated when you were late, and I probably overreacted a bit. Let's figure out how to handle timing better." She takes ownership of her emotions and actions, while still expressing her needs. There's a willingness to find solutions rather than just assign blame. The red flag appears when she consistently deflects responsibility and blames others, instead of acknowledging her part. She might say, "You made me feel bad by being late. You always do this to me." Notice how in this framing, she's positioned herself as the passive recipient of your actions rather than an active participant in the interaction. She's not taking responsibility for her reactions or considering how she might contribute to the dynamic. These patterns show up in seemingly minor conflicts, but reveal major character issues. Think of unresolved blame like a pressure cooker. Each small incident, where responsibility is deflected, adds more steam until eventually the whole relationship explodes over something trivial. I remember a date where I accidentally spilled water on the table. My date immediately tensed up and said, "You need to be more careful. Now everyone is looking at us." When I looked around, no one was paying any attention. Her response revealed how she would handle larger issues with criticism and blame, rather than grace and teamwork. This behavior rarely exists in isolation. How she handles conflicts in other areas of her life tells you how she'll eventually handle conflicts with you. Watch how she talks about workplace disagreements. Does her boss always misunderstand her? Are her co-workers always undercutting her? These patterns with colleagues today become patterns with you tomorrow. One of the most revealing contexts is how she interacts with service workers. When the coffee order is wrong or the food takes too long, does she treat the server with respect or immediately become demanding? I once watched a date snap her fingers at a waiter who was clearly managing multiple tables during a rush. When I commented on it later, she said, "That's what they're paid for. I shouldn't have to wait." This interaction told me everything about how she would treat me when I inevitably failed to meet her expectations. Family relationships also reveal these patterns. How does she talk about conflicts with her parents or siblings? Does she acknowledge the complexity of family dynamics and her role in them? Or does she cast herself as the perennial victim of unreasonable family members? These stories contain valuable information about her conflict resolution style. Our approach to handling disagreements often stems from childhood experiences. If she grew up in a home where taking responsibility was modeled, she likely developed healthy conflict resolution skills. If blame and deflection were the norm, she probably absorbed those patterns. This doesn't mean people can't change. They absolutely can, but change requires awareness and effort. When someone consistently avoids taking responsibility for their role in conflicts, it often connects to deeper fears. Admitting mistakes might have been dangerous or shameful in their formative relationships. Their defensive reactions aren't necessarily about the current situation, but about protecting themselves from feelings of inadequacy or rejection they experienced earlier in life. You can gain valuable insights by watching how she handles conflicts with others before they involve you directly. Does she gossip extensively about others' flaws while presenting herself as blameless? Does she hold grudges over minor offenses? These behaviors predict how she'll treat you when the honeymoon phase ends. Several questions can reveal her conflict patterns early in dating. Ask her about a time when a disagreement led to growth in a relationship. A healthy response includes what she learned and how she changed her approach. A red flag response focuses entirely on how the other person was wrong or needed to change. Another revealing question is, how do you prefer to handle it when someone disappoints you? Listen for whether her answer includes direct communication and mutual problem solving, or if it's centered on the other person making amends while she remains passive. The ultimate test is simple. Watch how she handles small conflicts now. Does she own her part or immediately blame others? When plans change unexpectedly, does she adapt with grace or make you feel guilty? When you express a concern, does she listen and respond thoughtfully or become defensive and counterattack? A woman who can say "I messed up" or "I overreacted" shows emotional maturity. Someone who never admits fault will eventually make your relationship feel like a courtroom where you're always on trial. No matter how attractive, successful, or charming she might be, her inability to take responsibility will eventually undermine your connection. Remember that healthy relationships aren't about finding someone who never makes mistakes. They're about finding someone who can acknowledge their mistakes, learn from them, and work with you to do better. The capacity to take responsibility is fundamental to trust, growth, and genuine intimacy. The